Welcome to the Mayor Show. We always say we have special shows, but seriously, we have a very special show today. It's all about cancer, and it's all about how we beat cancer and how we help people. And it's getting better and better all the time. And with me today, I have two very special guests. You'll hear all about it. It's all about fundraising. It's all about cure. It's all about how we're going to get this done together and get rid of cancer someday, hopefully. One of the things I know is very big in this is breast cancer. And we've had this in my own family, and almost every time you hear about it and how people should get checked up. And you'll be talking about all those things. But today, what I want to talk to and start out our show, and in a few minutes I'm going to have Dawn Davis, my executive, that helps me every day here. Actually my right hand. So she'll be on because she actually went through and she knows a lot about it, and certainly you've met her, Mary Ellen,
Yes, I have.
several times over the years. So we're going to have her come in and talk to you. But I just want to get started by, I know how important this is, and fundraising is important. It's always important, fundraising. And you have something more than Pink Walk coming up, which you've done at Parks Casino before.
Correct.
And it's at Mother's Day this year, May 12th. So that's coming up, and that's very important. And I want you to talk to me a little bit about that.
Okay. So I'm the Education and Outreach Coordinator at Jefferson.
Oh, I forgot to say that. I
Yeah.
apologize. I had it written down.
So I work for Jefferson Health, part of Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center here in the Torresdale Knights Road Division, along with Dr. Degen. And we've decided to sponsor the More Than Pink Walk by Susan G. Komen this year, as you mentioned, which will be on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 12th, at Parks Casino. And Komen does a lot. They're trying to raise funds for different types of things with cancer, with breast cancer. Metastatic cancer, clinical trials. They support patients who have cancer. So we've decided, Jefferson, to be a part of this and, really support them.
Doctor, tell us a little bit about what you do there, Jeff.
Sure, yeah. I'm a medical oncologist at Jefferson Torresdale, where I have a focus on breast cancer. And we have a very involved multidisciplinary team, myself, other oncologists. We also work very closely with the surgeons and the radiation oncologists. And then we have a whole team of infusion nurses and social workers, nutrition, all kinds of support to help our patients get through what they're going through.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it really is tough. And as I said, Dawn has gone through the procedures and had as much scare as the ladies get every time something like this comes up. Yeah. So I'm going to let her come on and take over and talk to you guys. And you bring out all the information you have to and how we can help here in Bensalem. Sure. You know me, I'm always on top of these things, and hopefully we can make things better on a daily basis.
We'll keep trying.
But I'm going to have Dawn come on. Dawn, would you come on now, please?
Hi, everybody. I'm really happy to be here with Mary Ellen Davis.
No relation,
when he said
right?
book, I had to giggle, but anyway. And Dr. Degen, is an oncologist. And the mayor just thought it might be a nice idea if I came on and just explained my experience with breast cancer.
Sure.
And most of my adult life, I was very concerned about it. My mother died of ductal carcinoma when she was 48 years old. My mother was afraid of doctors, would never go, never had a mammography. By the time the lesion was found, it was a visible lesion on the outer corner of her breast. It almost looked like a big pimple had to be lanced.
Yeah.
Well, to make a long story short, she had DCIS, which is what I was diagnosed with, but of course my mom let it go too long, so it had traveled into the exterior walls and things of that nature. And she lived 5 years. They said she didn't need chemo or radiation. Now this was 34 years ago. And you just don't want to hear those words.
No.
From the time, I'll probably be a little jumpy because it's emotional for me, but 34 years ago, I got a mammogram every year until COVID. 1 year I don't get the mammogram, and the next year when I get it, there's cancer. And I mean, I'm blessed because it was DCIS, which means ductal carcinoma in situ, and it was in 2 spots. One was clear, one was not. So, and it's a kind of a tough thing to go through.
Sure is.
Between the biopsy and then, having markers placed in you and things of that nature. I guess the takeaway for me is, I think we're always hear so much today, get that mammogram, don't put it off. There are places that offer free mammograms for those individuals who don't have access. I just think it's paramount that you do, because look at my example. 30 years of negativity, and that one test, that one day, and you hear those words, it's positive, it's cancer. Like your whole world just falls apart. Everything falls away from you. You hear the words cancer. So I remember the story of Susan G. Komen, the promise between 2 sisters. And it always intrigued me. Back, this has been going on for at least 35 years, 40 years or so.
Yeah,
And I just thought,
40 years.
40 years. Will there ever be a cure? Will there ever be a cure? It's once you have cancer and you look at things much broader.
Sure.
What if you don't have family? What if you don't have the support system you need? Where do you turn? What do you do? You feel like you really don't know who to reach out to first. And I think perhaps that's where you all come in with your expertise, with physicians, but these types of outreach programs I think are paramount for people who, number one, just got, just kind of sucker punched in the face to say, hey, you have cancer. And now, what are we going to do about it now? And it just starts this whole journey that I know you have had personal experience with as well.
Yeah.
And it's scary. It's so scary. Yeah. And I believe when my mom was diagnosed, it was like 1 in, if I remember this right, it might have been 1 in 10 or 1 in 12. I think it's a lot less now, isn't it?
1 in 8 is the kind of the percentage we give people, or the risk of breast cancer. So it's about 13% risk in a woman's lifetime, which is too high.
And let me ask a question. What do you all feel that it's, in the research that has been done over the past decades, what are some of the contributing factors, these modern contributing factors today?
Right. Yeah, we don't know is the short answer, but there are certainly risk factors for breast cancer, like early menses, birth control pill usage, a family history, and then there are these patient factors, but then also there have got to be environmental exposures, which that's really what we incompletely understand. There's a very small portion of breast cancers that are genetic, so something that's passed from mom or dad's side, but that is by far not the most common way that breast cancer is discovered.
I read, and I thought that was interesting, that if your mother's had it on your maternal side and all is when you really need to check things out. And I always get frightened by that, like the genetic part of it. I'll be the first one to admit I haven't done it. And I'm torn.
Yeah.
I'm torn with it. They're like those types of decisions, they're hard to make. You really need to be educated as to what should you do? What's the right thing to do?
Right. It's very scary because then what do you do with that information? But these days there is a lot of good guidance on what exactly to do. So is it enhanced screening? Is it a different kind of surgery depending on what we find? I think it's good for the patient to know, for the families to know. It can make a difference. Sometimes we ask that women start screening earlier based on the family history. So that's really important because we're always trying to screen as much as we can as early as possible so we can catch cancers early when they are small, when they require as little treatment as possible.
Yes, I feel very blessed, I really do, because I needed radiation for 30 days, and that's grueling in of itself because it's just every day. But what's really grueling is when it's over, you don't realize, and it hits you like a locomotive.
Yep.
All of a sudden you're so
Catches up to
tired.
you.
It does catch up to you. So, but hey, you do what you have to do, and what you have to do is always get a mammogram and make sure you do your due diligence to catch this nasty disease.
Absolutely.
And it is nasty. And not that this is about me, it's not, but And then I get skin cancer. This is what this beautiful thing is on the side here. So please be careful. Wear your sunscreen. I can just hear my mom right now saying, I told you not to stay out in the sun, because that's unfortunately a sun worshiper back in the day.
We
But
didn't know as much back then.
we
Now
didn't.
we know.
We did not.
Yeah.
It's just, and I'm terrible. Grew up down the shore, on the beach,
Yeah,
just
of course.
whatever. Didn't even think about it. And you know, you get older, and then reality.
Yeah. So
Reality
you
hits
mentioned the importance of screening, and I wanted to just make a point, which is that over the years there have been different guidelines about when to start screening, but now we're really recommending that women start their screening at age 40. At age 40 with a mammogram. And another myth is that you cannot get a mammogram if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, and that is no longer true either. So, you know, across all stages and types of cancer, we're seeing more young people with cancer, which is really hard to take.
It's frightening.
But for that reason, I urge women to get your mammogram, even if you're pregnant or lactating. Don't let anyone tell you you can't.
And I sit here as one of those in the population who believe that you cannot get one while you're pregnant or just.
Right, that was a misconception for years, and now we know differently. So get your mammogram, it's important.
Now, do you all work with the American Cancer Society?
So we support them
You
as
support
well.
that,
Mhm.
okay.
Just like we're supporting this Komen Walk on Mother's
Okay.
Day. Dr. Degen is actually my personal physician now. So
Oh.
I'm a 13-year breast cancer survivor like you, stage 3. I love Dr. Degen and the team that we have at Jefferson Torresdale. The resources that we're able to offer patients are amazing. I mean, like you said, when you're diagnosed with cancer, it's the scariest thing. And what do I do? Where do I turn? The staff at Torresdale Division of Jefferson, they're amazing. There's, like Dr. Degen said, we have social workers, dietitians, there's financial assistance, transportation, the radiation team is great. Everyone in the whole group, we're just able to offer all those services.
So not only does the money go to research, it helps you with all the ancillary things that are required to help a woman or a man recoup.
Absolutely.
The psychiatric support, rides, you know, being able to have someone on the other end of the phone when you're having a terrible, terrible day and you feel you're at your absolute lowest and you just need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And maybe not a family member.
Right.
Maybe a complete stranger.
Exactly.
This is the
Sometimes-
hardest thing that most people have gone through, so we want to make it as easy as we can and as few barriers and hurdles for patients as possible.
Which is wonderful. I know my experience was great, and I think that helped me to heal. And the education that they had provided me,
Yeah.
you know, gave me, it lightened my load.
Yeah.
And it'll be 3 years next month.
Amazing.
Good
So,
for you.
Yes.
yay! So anyway, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, congratulations. We're
Thank
happy
you,
for
thank you. Now, now, how do people sign up for the walk?
So we'll put there's a QR code to scan on the register.
Okay.
Jefferson is going to have a team that day on Mother's Day. It's at Parks Casino. They made a great donation. I reached out to my leaders at Jefferson and the Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center, and they said, we'd love to support Komen. So
Parks is wonderful.
yeah,
They really
and
are.
Parks,
They-
we have a great team there. We're going to go walk around the track that day. There's going to be a lot of survivors. It's a very emotional day, but
I'm
it's also
sure.
a very fun day.
and hope
If you
that-
could come, it would be great.
Oh, I'm
We
gonna be
would,
there.
yeah, stop
I'll
in
be
and
there.
see us. We'll have a Jefferson tent, and we'll have resources for current patients, metastatic patients. You know, we'll have some physicians there, but we're just, you know, happy to support the
That's
cause.
wonderful. The
Yeah.
people need to understand
Yeah.
that, and I think going into it, if they do, that I think they'll just have a much better experience, if that's even the right thing to say.
Yeah,
Just,
I
you
think
know.
you ladies can tell me, but I think a lot of people feel very alone when they get their diagnosis. So to be at an event like this where you are surrounded by people that know what you're going through is so special.
It does,
Yeah,
it does
it
something.
does.
It just lifts you up.
Yeah.
You somehow feel normal again.
Yeah.
If that
I always-
makes any
Yeah.
sense.
I always say that it's a group that I never asked to join.
Right.
But now that I'm in it, like there's so many
You're so glad.
supportive sisters and survivors that I'm glad to be a part
Well, I'll
of.
be looking for
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
of you
Yeah.
on
Okay.
May 12th.
Looking
Great,
forward.
great,
Okay.
yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Thank you for having us. Get your
Yeah.
mammogram. We are here. We're happy to help out. We love this community and we want to help people going through it and then increase the knowledge around it and do better in the future always.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We have a dedicated phone number for the Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center. We'll put that up on the screen.
Okay, very
And that's
good.
if patients are newly diagnosed or their physician, wants to refer them to the cancer center for any hematology or oncology. We're there for you. So, yeah,
Wonderful.
thanks.
Well, gals, it was my pleasure. This was a
Thanks,
last-minute thing to do, but that's how we do it here
okay.
at Ben Salem Community Television. We just try to help each other out, disseminate information, and hopefully you'll take this information to heart. And God bless everybody. Take
Thank
care.
you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.